What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers bench has been awful, right? And they definitely need to address that at some point, whether you're just, trading guys to add some bench depth, or maybe you're moving a Reeves or a D'Lo or a Rui or somebody to the bench unit. You got to figure that out. Lakers are 30th in bench. They're averaging 20 points per game on the bench. The starters are averaging like 85% of the Lakers' total points. It's just it's what happens when you put all of your scoring options into the starting unit. Now, here's the thing, though. There is the potential that Christian Wood, whenever he returns, right, which I do believe they need to be patient. They need to allow him to develop. But I do think that there is a scenario where Christian Wood is somewhat of the savior for the Lakers, particularly off the bench. Now, the reason is because of his history and track record. He is a guy that is proven and can get you 17-6 off the bench, and he's done it in several places in several stints. So if Christian Wood can come back and kind of get back to a form of what we've seen in like Houston and Dallas, places like that, then I do think that opens up and kind of calms the storm a little bit as far as the bench goes, right? Where right now, you're banking on two young guys. One is 21, and yes, he's in year 3, but he might as well be a rookie, right? I mean, in the sense of this is his first real opportunity. He went from spot minutes, inconsistency, you might go a month without playing, to now we need you to be the 6th best player on this team every single night. And he's having his struggles. He's having his hiccups. He's had some great moments. He's had some good games, but he's also had some very bad ones. And then you have a literal rookie in Dalton Connect that is being asked to, hey, we need you to be our 6th or 7th best guy every single night. And you've seen the inconsistencies from him at times, which is fine. It's expected. Again, he's a rookie. He's going to have his good games. He's going to have his bad games. He's going to have his in-between games. Same thing with Max Christie, because you have two guys that are now being asked to be such key components for this season. Like, how many serious contenders are reliant on a rookie and a third-year player who never really got opportunity to be the guy? Right? Like, unless you just have some like superstar studded starting lineup, which the Lakers just don't have. Unless the Lakers just like their starting unit is like fantastic, where it's like, wow, like they upgraded D'Lo and they upgraded Rui and they, like now it's like, okay, this is so good you can kind of justify and live with it. But it's not where we're at right now. Now, there is the potential, again, of a trade. I've talked about Walker Kessler and Colin Sexton. Do you do something like that where Sexton is willing to come off the bench for the Utah Jazz without, any crying or complaining or anything like that? Would he do something like that for the Lakers to where now you got like Sexton as well as Walker Kessler coming off the bench? I think that would just skyrocket the bench unit. And then also you get back Christian Wood at some point. So now you have those 3 guys. But even without the trade, right? Let's remove the trade from the conversation for a moment, right? What Christian Wood does is he comes in as a proven bench scorer, as a proven guy who can give you that production off the bench, and now takes so much pressure off of guys like Max Christie and Dalton Connect. Now there isn't the pressure of, I have to be great every single night, otherwise it's a failure, because they need me to be the 6th best player, or they need me to be the 7th best player. Where now it's like, okay, Christian Wood gets to be that guy. Now I get to be, the 7th or 8th best guy. And Dalton Connect gets to be the 7th or 8th best guy, right? And it's just like, whichever guy has it that night, that's the guy you play more. But Christian Wood is the guy you're defaulting to off the bench at the 4 spot, at the 5 spot, and kind of gives you that production. Christian Wood is also the closest thing we have to an Anthony Davis. Obviously, Christian Wood is not Anthony Davis in the sense of like superstardom and just a guy that go get you 38-8 or 30-12-8 or whatever. Like, he's MVP level type Anthony Davis. But what I mean is in the sense of his offensive versatility. Right now, when Anthony Davis goes to the bench and you bring in Jackson Hayes is so limited in what you can do as far as your sets and actions go, right? He's not a guy that can, pick and pop and be on the elbow or do anything like he's basically outside of 5 feet, a non-factor offensively. But if you have somebody like Christian Wood, when Anthony Davis goes to the bench, yes, Christian Wood isn't like a big center, but you're also going up against bench units and stuff like that. And at least until we get that center, or Walker Kessler or Valanciunas or whomever, right? You get a guy in Christian Wood who can now slot in, and you can run a lot of the same actions that you can with Anthony Davis. Because he's a guy that, yes, you can dump the ball down to, and he can just take guys off the dribble, or, elevate and shoot over the top. Or you can run some pick and pop actions. You can have him as the slip man. You can, have him in those dribble handoffs at the top of the key. Like, you can have him in so many different actions to where he's now a threat. Where when teams go to sag off of Jackson Hayes, they do that to Christian Wood. It's an easy just back pass, boom, Christian Wood's there, and he's just elevating, knocking down the three. Like, those are the differences. So Christian Wood just makes it much more versatile. And I know some people are going to be like, well, what did Christian do last year? Couple factors. One, Darvin Ham utilized him as if he was a 3-and-D wing rather than a big man who can occasionally step out and knock down the three. Talked about it all season last year, that he was constantly out of position, that he was constantly underutilized. There would be times where you're just like begging for any type of offensive production, but you have a guy in Christian Wood that you can just dump the ball down to, and he can just go make a play. Right? He can even make little passes out of the post and stuff like that. Right? Like, he's very versatile. That's why you brought him in, and yet you just kind of neutralized him by having him just stand outside of the key the whole game. It's just, it made no logical sense, in my opinion. Where I think a guy like J.J. Redick and this coaching staff, I think that they're going to put him in proper spots, put him in proper positions to have success, and instead of him just primarily being out on the perimeter, right? And also, most of his field goal attempts at the rim were from him getting the ball at the top of the key and taking guys off the dribble, right? Like, it wasn't him on the block or, maximizing a mismatch to where he can just go and operate. No, it was just like him at the top of the key getting the basketball and going like, okay, like, I can either just take a contested three or try to wiggle my way to the basket, right? Rather than having him, be a cutter or something and just feeding him the ball and then he's just going to work. It made no sense. Where I think JJ is going to do a much better job with Christian Wood, and I think we'll get the most out of him. And even if he's not like a 17-point-a-game guy, if he can just come in and be 12 points a game, that's 12 points you don't got right now. So now you go from an average of 20 a game, average of 32 a game. Right? Like, that's just a big difference. And plus, Jackson Hayes has all his stuff, the NBA opening up investigations and all this stuff. Like, Jackson Hayes, he might not even be on the team for very long. We'll see how that plays out. But I really do think Christian Wood, when I say savior, I don't mean in the sense of like, oh, now Lakers are the best team in the league just because of Christian Wood. But he was a guy even last season when we got him where the consensus was, even by Laker haters, were like, dang, the Lakers might be really good this year. I mean, there were genuine conversations of like, does Christian Wood put the Lakers over the top? And he just won, again, Darvin Ham. Another issue was that he was dealing with all the off-court drama and all the craziness. I'm not going to get into that, but he was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, dealing with injuries, all of that. Right now, if he comes back and he's healthy, he's got all that personal stuff resolved, and you got a better coach that's going to utilize you better and put you in the better position, I think that it's a formula of success for Christian Wood, and we can see a version, if not maybe even what we expected, or even better, of Christian Wood, particularly off the bench in that bench role. And you can still slot him with Anthony Davis. You can still slot him with LeBron. You can still do a lot of the same stuff you're doing with Jackson Hayes, just with Christian Wood this time. Still have Anthony Davis be the help defender. Christian Wood on an island is not great as a rim protector. But him, if you funnel him as kind of the help defender, he actually is good at kind of cleaning things up. So as long as you are making sure that you're not just getting blown by every possession, but then you'd even have Anthony Davis to kind of back him up, right? I do think it could work. I do, and it's not like Jackson Hayes is this great rim protector. It's not like Jackson Hayes is cleaning everything up. And then that might take some pressure off of what you need to do with trades. Also, it might change the way you operate, because right now you might be looking at it, it's like, man, we really need to kind of upgrade our bench depth. So can we find a trade to where we get like a bench piece plus, maybe an upgraded starter, where if Christian Wood can solve a lot of those issues off the bench, it's like, okay, well, we got the bench issue resolved, so let's focus more on kind of upgrading the starting unit. And now you have that trickle-down effect. I just think that Christian Wood has the potential to kind of calm the storm a little bit for the Lakers and make them a competent bench rather than the struggling bench that we see right now, which just doesn't look good if we're being honest, right? Like, the Lakers bench is a real issue, but we'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yeah, Christian Wood, he has the potential to really kind of sew things up for us a little bit, kind of make things, better for us off the bench, kind of change the way we maybe approach some trades and stuff? Do you think, it doesn't change anything. You still got to get some bench depth, still got to do those things. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.